I feel like I look blurry. Do I look blurry to you?
So we'll be talking about when someone copies your art.
Oh, hell no.
Like a thief in the night, just taking your artwork.
Well, it's not really like a thief.
Well,
they have to make the stuff.
Well, what would it...
Like a forger in the night. Acting like a douche, another forger in the night.
Rafi's tips for artists because he loves you.
Hola, you amazing artists. The disclaimer here is that this is not meant to call anybody out. This is simply for educational purposes. But I'll try not to turn this into a rant, but it will definitely push a few buttons, let's just say. I'm not talking about being inspired by a piece and deciding like, oh, I really love that. That has inspired me to create my own work. No, I'm talking about like, oh, I really dig that. I could paint that. I'm going to pretend like I came up with it. And I'm going to sell it. Now, as you guys know, I've been selling art for some time. So I have run into people trying to pass off work that is definitely my work as their own work. Let me set the scene. We had done this show called The Destin Art Walk. We get set up next to a booth that looked a little bit suspicious. So after we had set everything up, I walk into the booth and I noticed that this person has dripped on trees that look very similar to my trees. Not only that, but he had paintings and she was selling jewelry.
So weird. It was like a bizarro Rafi and Klee, but more macabre.
Angry Rafi and Klee versions.
They were goth Rafi and Klee.
Goth Rafi and Klee. As it turns out, a week earlier, these two had visited our booth at this festival and saw that my trees and her jewelry was very, very popular. So they decided that they were going to do the same thing. And I mean exactly the same thing. Basically, his artwork was a mirrored reflection of my artwork and her jewelry was a mirrored reflection of Klee's jewelry. Now, the work itself was relatively subpar. It was something that somebody threw together in a week just to try and make money. These were not artists. These were people that were just trying to make money by selling art. Essentially, I just let it go. I just let it go, because who freaking cares? The problem with copying an idea and trying to pass it off as your own, it's a lot of work. There is a lot of work involved, and there is no artistic motivation. They didn't do very well at the festival, considering that for all intents and purposes, they had very similar items to what we had. The difference was that there was passion and inspiration in our items. And that's why one of my biggest arguments is if you are creating art with just the intent to sell it, there is nothing else, nothing personal in the piece. You're not going to be very successful selling it. So copying somebody else's work simply because you think it's popular and it's going to sell is really not going to work out for you. We've also had people come in and take photographs of my work, which sometimes you could tell why they're photographing the work.
I want to show this to my husband. Yeah, sure you do, lady.
Yeah. The thing is that some people might take a photograph because they're being inspired by your work, and I'm fine with that. If somebody sees one of my pieces and they're like, wow, this is amazing, I want to create something similar, hey, I am all good with that. It's not actually the people out there that are being inspired by the work and wanting to create something for themselves. It's the people out there that are thinking that because something is popular that they're going to copy it. Recently, somebody posted this about my Seasons of Change series. In case anyone wants to know what to get me for Christmas, Rafi Perez is awesome and I really need this. Yeah, that's super freaking sweet. And you get these really nice comments. Love those. He's an amazing artist. So is his wife. I could paint these. They're so neat.
Wait, what?
What the fuck? That is the kind... I could paint these. They're so neat. I'm an artist. By the way, I know that you want these from so-and-so, but I could probably paint them, so go ahead and order them from me.
That's crazy. That's like saying, hey, guess what I got you for Christmas, Rafi? This is not the Christmas painting you wanted. No, This is just a tribute.
So I've been doing this art thing for a while now, and there are certain series of my paintings that have become very popular. I actually had one of my customers come to me. They said, you know, a year ago we bought this set from another artist because it was cheaper. It just didn't work out and it doesn't look right. So we decided to get the real set this year. And in my mind, I'm like, my seasons of change aren't even that expensive.
Didn't you have a lady come by some one time too, and she was like, I'm gonna be honest, I tried to do this and couldn't.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna buy them from you.
Yeah, and it's funny because every time somebody comes back from New Orleans, they tell me like, you know, there's an artist out there that is selling some trees that look very similar to yours. And I'm like, whatever. How do I handle it? There are 5 things that I do so that I don't waste any time worrying about things like this. Number 1, don't react emotionally. Don't let yourself get upset. You are the innovator. You're the one that created the series. You're the one that invented the series. No matter what, they will always be one step behind you. And when it comes down to it, if it is somebody who is selling in a booth at a market and they have to copy your work in order to be able to sell stuff, it shows you that their mind is not where it needs to be. Number 2, remember, there are no new ideas. So I didn't invent painting on wood. I didn't invent painting trees on wood. I didn't invent paint. I didn't invent any of it. I just happened to create a 4-piece series. But as far as like painting on pieces of wood or painting trees, there is nothing new about that whatsoever. Just because somebody has something that's similar doesn't necessarily mean that they took my idea. Unless it is identical. They are using the same color paints, the same techniques, the same brush strokes. It's only a matter of time before they start to find their own voice. Eventually, that person is going to move on to the next popular and exciting thing and leave your stuff behind. So I would say not to concern yourself with either one. Just create your own thing. Number 3, it takes work to copy art. Unless you are copying Van Gogh or Picasso or one of those old masters that the pieces are going for millions of dollars, I personally don't see it as worth it. To me, it takes more work to try and create something that somebody else created than to follow your own inspiration and create something unique that the world has never seen. Let me just stay in here where it's safe, and I know that these things will sell, and there's no real growth of your own style and your own voice. So like, my attitude is almost like, good luck with that. At this point, nobody's gonna make $1 million copying my trees. And if there is ever an issue in the future with a large company selling mass amounts of my work, then I've got all the proof that I need. But if it's just an artist that's down the way, I don't let it bother me. I might go and have a conversation with them, but I'm not gonna let it bother me.
You know what would be really uncomfortable? Is if you went into their booth and bought a piece of their work.
Number 4, the best revenge is other people. We have a loyal collector base of friends, and they are fiercely loyal to us. There have been countless of times where they have just brought the hammer down on people that were blatantly copying my work. I think that that's a good place to be. I don't necessarily condone that behavior, but I don't not condone it either. Number 5, don't let it distract you. In the end, my advice is just let it go. If you obsess about somebody else trying to steal your work or other people trying to steal your work, I've seen really, really talented artists who do zero marketing because they're afraid to post their pictures. I know other artists that are always driving themselves crazy because they're constantly worried that this person down the way is stealing their work. I have other artists that come up to me and they apologize to me for painting things on wood, and I'm like, I didn't invent that. I tend not to worry about and compare myself to what other artists are doing. So whether or not they're copying my work or inspired by my work or their work is better than mine or not better than mine, none of that stuff really matters to me. I don't really concern myself with that. No matter what, anybody that is copying your work is behind you because you're the one that invented the work. So essentially what that means is that you will always be in the forefront. You will always be the innovator. You will always be the creator. And if people are just copying and that's how they get by, they will always be in the dust behind you. And that's all I got. I hope you guys found this helpful. We've had a super busy week, but I wanted to make sure that I reached out and said hi to you guys. If you guys have had any experiences with people copying your work, or what your mentality is when it comes to copying work, please leave them in the comments below. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. I totally adore you. And if you like this video and you want to watch more like this, just click over here to subscribe. And that's it. Say goodbye, Klee.
Good day.
Adios.
This is not the Christmas present you wanted, no. This is a tribute. I didn't get you the Christmas painting you wanted, no. This is a tribute, oh.